Hello everyone, this is TechBizmo, and welcome back once again to another video. In this video, everybody, I'm going to be showing you guys this little presentation that I put together for you. So basically, this presentation is going to be showing you guys the reasons to switch to Linux and basically the reasons that are appropriate for certain users, certain Windows or Mac OS users, for the reasons why they shouldn't switch or the reasons why they should switch. I actually have most of my reasons are actually reasons why you should switch, because this is actually only going to be a part 1 video. I'm sure I'm going to have some kind of part 2 to this video. So you can see I've only got 2 simple cons of Linux, and I've got three pros of Linux right now, reasons to switch right here. I think I actually listed 2 things of the same thing right here. Like, I listed the same 2 things in pros of Linux and in reasons to switch. So anyways, also, before I get started, this video is not a video that is hating on any other operating system. I think that Windows and macOS are great operating systems. As a matter of fact, I do use both of those. I wouldn't say daily. I use Linux daily, but I don't use Linux or I apologize. I don't use Windows or OS X, I guess I could call it. I don't use those as, my daily driver operating system. So yeah, there's just a little thing to let you guys know. I do not hate any of these operating systems. This is not a video hating on other operating systems. This is just simply the reasons why it is appropriate to switch to Linux. This is actually mostly focused on Windows users. I'm actually going to sort of have more of a detailed video on Mac OS. The differences between Linux and Mac OS. The Linux, should you switch from Mac OS to Linux, and stuff like that. That'll basically be a part 2, because this one is more focused on the Windows platform. I don't know that I mentioned Mac OS that much. I mean, I mentioned that Linux is a lot faster than Mac OS. However, I don't believe I mentioned any differences between Mac OS and Linux, other than the speed differences. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'm just going to start with my first slide. So as you can see, it just says Linux, should you switch, by TechBizmo. Alright, so yep, this is basically what I just said a minute ago, and I'll just go ahead and read this aloud as well. Before we start, one thing to note is that I do not hate Windows. Windows and macOS are great operating systems. This video is designed for whoever believes that they would like to use Linux as a main operating system. GNU/Linux, sad error 256, and because I'm sure he'll get mad at me and say Linux is not an operating system. So yeah, here we go. This video will show you the pros and the cons of the GNU/Linux operating system. There you go, sad error 256. Hopefully you're happy now, and reasons to switch. Anyways, without further ado, let's get started. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this video. Also, let me go ahead and point out, yeah, if Richard Stallman is watching this video, I apologize for calling it Linux and not GNU/Linux, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people commenting in the comments below. Oh, you should have called it GNU/Linux. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this presentation. Alright, reasons to switch. After Linux is installed, you will feel the improvement of performance. So basically, this just means you will notice a big speed bump from Windows or OS X. Nearly all programs and/or applications in Linux are totally free. Now, I am not talking about open source type of free. I'm talking about, kind of the price free. I don't know any applications in Linux that are, or any softwares, programs in Linux that actually cost any money. I mean, I'm sure there's one, what's it called? Sublime Text. I believe that costs like $100 or something, but just use a different text editor. Just use a free alternative, because there are thousands of not thousands. Well, I don't know. There are definitely a lot of alternatives for, text editors and stuff. Just use Vim or Nano. So anyways, the next reason to switch, Linux actually has a pretty big sized community allowing you to ask forums for any help needed. So basically, this just means if you do not know, which I'm sure none of you do not know what this means, basically, I'm just going to explain this right now. Basically, with Windows and Mac OS, you probably know pretty much how to do everything in Windows and Mac OS. Linux can be a lot more complex than that. But do not be scared when you're deciding to use Linux as a main operating system. There are so many forums that you can get help from. There's always a solution. There's never going to be a non-solution. I'm being honest, there's always a solution in Linux. Anyways, there are several Linux distributions that are great for any Linux beginners. Now, I did not include any examples in the presentation. However, I will go ahead and just list some aloud. So I have to say one really good beginner distribution would have to be Linux Mint. I don't know about Manjaro. I think Manjaro is also a pretty good beginner distribution. Kind of, I don't know, kind of with Ubuntu. Ubuntu, it can be really complex though, because, I don't know, it's, actually, I'm not sure. It's really easy for beginners as well. That was actually the first Linux distribution I used. Which I'll actually go ahead and tell you that story right now. So, it was actually 2 years ago. I met my buddy Highland, or Satyr 256, and he and I was just running around showing people pictures of a bunny on my computer, and I was like, bunny, and then Highland, he saw me with my computer. He was like, finally, someone without a freaking Chromebook at the school. That's literally what he said in his mind. He was so happy it was finally someone without a Chromebook, because I had my really nice Acer Aspire F15 laptop from 2016. And then he came over to me and I was like, hello, and then he was like, hey, what you doing? I was like, I'm setting up a Minecraft server, and he was like, oh, I'll help you, and I was like, no, shut up, go kill yourself. No, I didn't say that. I just said, I don't need your help. And he was like, why are you being so mean to me? And I was like, I don't know. I was literally like, I don't know. Then I said, why are you being mean to me? And he's like, I'm not. And then we went to class. Then the next few days he asked me a question. He said, how do you download stuff in Linux? And then I said, from the internet. And then he said, no. So that was when he introduced me to Linux, and I actually tried it. I tried a distribution called Ubuntu. I believe 16.04 was the distribution it was on. But anyways, let's go ahead and just continue this video. So, yes, I was done with reasons to switch, so let's go ahead and skip on to pros of Linux. Linux is compatible with the majority of computers in the Linux world. Again, like I said earlier, speed, you will immediately notice a better difference in performance than you would with Windows or Mac OS. Oh yeah, by the way, with Linux is compatible with the majority of computers in the world, which meaning, internet, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, basically all the things that require drivers like touchpad. Oop, whoops. What did I just do? Okay, here we go. Touchpad drivers, mouse drivers, USB drivers, display drivers, audio driver. All of them. Wi-Fi drivers, Ethernet drivers. All of them. Sorry. But yeah, basically, Linux is really compatible with a lot of those. Like, if you guys have tried installing Mac OS on any of your PCs, like I've tried a million times, it does not like to work on my laptops. It does like to work well on my desktop, though. That's why I actually use Mac OS, not daily, but I do use it quite a lot as kind of a just working operating system, kind of just for web searching and stuff. It's not great for gaming and doing that sort of stuff, which I only play Minecraft, so it wouldn't matter to me anyway. But yeah, Alright, again, like I said earlier, speed, you will immediately notice a better difference in performance than you would with Windows or Mac OS. So yes, again, this is the performance. You will immediately notice a difference in speed. With most Linux distros, you get to pick between a stable release or rolling release. Basically, guys, a stable release is a release that is completely stable. There are barely any bugs. Well, actually, I think no bugs. All the bugs are fixed. Unless somebody reports a bug and then they fix it after a month. And that's when they start calling it a rolling release distro, if it has a lot of bugs in it. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and go over to the rolling release part of this. So, rolling release basically is just basically a beta, I guess I could say. It's more of a beta version, so you call it rolling release or beta, basically. Cons of Linux. Linux does not have compatibility with a lot of video games, or Linux does have compatibility with a lot of video games out there, but I must warn you that if you are a hardcore gamer, that lots of video games cannot be installed in Linux. So basically, there are a lot of games that cannot be installed in Linux. Now, there is a solution to this that can fix a lot of the games, which is using Wine, but I wouldn't sincerely recommend that, honestly, because Wine is sort of like using it in a VirtualBox. It's basically like installing Windows in a VirtualBox inside of Linux, then playing the game in the VirtualBox. I mean, it's definitely not as slow as the VirtualBox, but, you might notice a difference. I don't know if they fixed this, but, when I tried a game in Wine, it was very sluggish, or not very sluggish, it kind of sort of it sort of had a couple of issues with it, that could have been fixed easily, but I will be telling you guys how to salute this, I guess I could say, how you could resolve this issue. I will be telling you guys at the end of this video. Sometimes some Linux distros are released as rolling release version or beta release, which means some things can be really buggy and just annoying to work with. So basically, again, rolling release is just like a beta release, It can be really annoying at times. Alright, conclusion. So this comes to the conclusion of the video. Should you switch to Linux or not? Well, I have to say that if you are a gamer that has most games only compatible with Windows, then you should stay with what you have. Or if you think that you should use Linux along with Windows, you can also pick dual booting. Dual booting is basically using both operating systems. You can choose between booting Linux and then one other day booting with Windows or Mac OS. In the future, I will be making a tutorial on how to dual boot Windows along with Linux. So basically, just stay tuned for that. Yes, I actually will be making a video pretty soon. I might also be showing you guys how to do it if you have an actual Mac, like an actual Mac computer, because my mother has a Mac computer, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me just splitting a partition, just for one video. I don't know, because I don't want to accidentally format her computer. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just see what happens. Maybe I'll buy an old Mac off eBay and show you guys how to do it. Maybe a 2008 MacBook. Not MacBook Pro, MacBook. Anyways, that's all. See ya, guys. This is actually basically you guys' choice. This is what you guys should pick. This is really not me recommending anything, although I do recommend using Linux over macOS or Windows. I have to say that this is more of you guys' decision. This is more of a, should I do dual booting decision. But I have to say, go for it. If you want to use Linux, if you have no games that you wouldn't care that don't run on Linux, or like if you don't play any video games, then I would say go straight for Linux. If all the programs that, if you don't have any programs that aren't compatible with Linux, then go for it. Because basically, with programs, you can actually simply use Wine or Play on Linux, aka Play on Linux, to fix those issues and sort of use them. I believe you can also get Microsoft Office inside of Linux just by using the terminal, but I don't know about that. Somebody in the comments below, let me know if you guys can just simply install Microsoft Office, an older version or something, just through the terminal, or I know you cannot do it through a DVD, seeing as it will be in an exe form. exe format. I apologize. But there are alternatives like LibreOffice. LibreOffice is really awesome. I've already switched over to LibreOffice and I really love it. And for stuff like video editing software, there is Kdenlive, which is extremely professional, free video editing software. You heard me, free video editing software. It is not that $299 Final Cut Pro X. It is 100% free. It is not that, I think, $199 Sony Vegas Pro 15, which sucks anyway because it doesn't have any compatibility with Linux videos anyway. I mean, it does if you're recording, I guess with OBS it does work, or just pick the right format as you're recording, or you might just have to convert it after the video. Well, anyway, guys, as I said, this is your choice. This is what you guys think, but as I said, I would definitely recommend using Linux. Well, anyway, guys, I have to say thank you guys very much for joining in to this video. As I said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.